Joel Browne-Connors is joining us. He's seeking office as a police officer. There's a unique look on the territory. Will that be your focus? Will law enforcement be your focus, or is just a
youths and crimes? Crime is all the emergency services.
Okay.
So I serve in several branches of emergency services. Okay. I am an EMT.
Oh, look at you! All right, okay.
Rescue technician and a police officer.
All right, well, respect, man. I appreciate that. All right. Well, there you go. That was your warm-up. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. Okay, so what motivated you to seek political office?
Well, first of all, I must say good morning to the listening audience. I am Joel Browne-Connors, and I'm seeking office because my 16 years of professional and volunteer service.
16?
Yeah, 10 years.
Let me see your birth paper, brother. You look like you just come out of the academy.
And then 10 years in government, and then some years with volunteer.
Okay.
With the Civil Air Patrol cadet program. Okay. Started as a cadet, move up to the commander of that program. Been in rescue since I'm 16. So I've been serving the community for quite some time now. So I was able to see firsthand the issues that really affects the territory and the small people within the territory. You know, people like myself. You know, I'm a business owner as well. So I've seen the issues.
What don't you do?
Sell drugs.
All right.
I've seen the issues, you know, firsthand, and you know. I want to be part of the solution. So I want to sit at the table where I can actually go in there and make a difference and help better the quality of life for all the Virgin Islanders.
Mm-hmm. All right, okay. What would be your most significant accomplishment to date? Because clearly you got a few.
I've done a lot, but it all started with the youth. So I'm going to go with the Civil Air Patrol. I became the youngest commander of that program back in 2010 when I called on Hansby left, Clarence Hansby. So. And since then, hundreds of children came through that program, and hundreds of them have successfully moved on to become model citizens in the territory and abroad. You know, whether they became pilots through the program, they joined the military, they started their own business, they went on to work for the federal government. So it's a great accomplishment knowing that I was part of that change for so much young folks in the Virgin Islands, being a young person myself.
Nice. All right. Well, clearly, if you're not, you're fooling me. You look very young. What legislation would you want to be affiliated?
I'm pushing agriculture because I am a farmer as well.
Oh my God!
So I'm an actual full-time farmer.
This guy.
You know, I do livestock farming along with some produce, but I do livestock farming full-time. Rabbits, chickens, ducks, eggs. I sell meat. So I do that full-time. However, my focus right now is youths and crime.
Okay.
You know, being that I've been in law enforcement for the last 3 years, that's what encouraged me to say, you know what, since we're enforcing the laws, and I don't agree with half of the laws on the books, it's time to go in and make a difference by changing some of these laws, amending some, adding new laws, you know, to help us when it comes, especially when it comes to crime.
Do you have any in mind?
So one of the laws that we're looking at is, so we arrest, you know, there's a lot of arrests for gun violence or guns in general, and there's 2 laws on the books for when it comes to firearms, and they're worded different, but it's the exact same crime. One gives you a mandatory 10-year sentence, and one gives you up to 5-year sentence. So it's up to me now. It's up to the arresting officer to determine whether we give you up to 5-year sentence or a mandatory 10. And it isn't fair. So the law should be equal across the books. You get caught with a firearm, illegal for it's 10 years. It's 10 years. It's 10 years. Not let's word it different, and you get 5 years. I mean, yeah, it works for some, but then it's not fair to all Virgin Islanders. You know, and my problem is like, you know, it's mostly young people between the age of 18 and 25 that's getting arrested. And then they look at, you know, if you get 3 years, let's give you a minimum of 3 years in prison. That's 3 years we take away from you that you can't get back. And then we're not doing anything in the system for you. So when you get out, there's nothing for you to do other than to continue repeating the crime that you went in for. Because now no one wants to hire you, you know, a convicted felon. So I'm looking at taking those laws and try and work around in when we arrest you, you do your time, but your sentencing would be scheduling you to the workforce. So we're sentencing you to the workforce. You know, you don't spend time in jail. You do your 3 years working for the government, you know, where you are able to pay back into the government. So we're going to tax the money that we're giving you. We're going to pay you to work, you know, but you're going to show up to work every day on time and do what you have to do. You mess up, then you're remanded to jail. You know, but stuff like that should be done for the young people that's committing crimes that are not Part 1 felonies. Part 1 felonies, of course, you'll do the time behind bars. But for these Class 3s, we are there arresting people and putting them in jail to continue repeating the system. It does nothing for us other than cost the government $40,000 a person to keep them in jail. So we could save that money, and that's what I'm looking at, is revamping some of those laws and finding other alternative solutions to the mass incarceration problem that we're having right now.
All right. So you said your platform...
Youth development, agriculture development, and emergency services and its management.
Okay. Well, expound on the emergency services and its management.
So I've worked for Vitima as well for 3 years as the outreach coordinator. I was the outreach coordinator and the SORT program manager. So it was I was training the volunteers in community emergency response team. So that's to prepare you to be of service during a disaster, during and after disaster.
Right.
So, and the question was asked, everybody keep asking about, how are you so young and have so much different hats, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that I can't stay in one place. It's I want to get the gist of all the different aspects of the field that I enjoy, so that when I talk about it, when I expunge it, I actually know what I'm talking about. I've been there, I saw, and I understand what I'm doing.
So question for you. Were you preparing for this moment?
Yes.
Like, did you want this background so you could run for Senate and be eligible?
Actually, I wanted a background to do bigger things in the States, but seeing where the island is going, and again, I felt the pain myself, as everyone, as a lot of small business owners and other residents of the Virgin Islands. I decided, you know what, let me stay here a little longer and try to help the Virgin Islands get back to being paradise for us, for the citizens that live here. So that's why I continue on and said, let me run for Senate, try and make this difference here, and see where it goes.
All right. So what I get from you, I don't know if anybody ever saw this. It was a In Living Color special, and Damon Wayans was playing a Jamaican, and it was a Jamaican airline, and Damon Wayans did everything. He flew the plane. He was a flight attendant. He was a mechanic. Like, I feel like you've done it all, man.
But so for me, it works because I've been responding to emergency calls. I was 14 years old responding. I was running to calls. Got a scooter at 16.
You ain't got child labor laws against that?
I was going on my own. Nobody called me. I listened to the little scanner from Radio Shack. And
was that legal?
Yeah, but
I feel like you were breaking the law.
Matter of fact,
that emergency scanner.
To this day, is in the Virgin Islands, it's still legal to carry a scanner up and down the street, which is a problem to me.
Really?
To the law enforcement, it is a
crazy.
problem. In the US, you can't. You can't leave your home with a scanner. It's for a home hobbyist. In the Virgin Islands, in our laws, you can have the scanner all day long.
Oh, wow.
So you can monitor police activity.
So that's one of the laws you're going to change?
That's one of the laws you got. It has to be changed. But you can monitor. There's nothing wrong with monitoring the frequency. But at home, when you come out on the road with a scanner to monitor police activities, to conduct criminal activities, then it should be a felony. It shouldn't be they could have this scanner. That's a felony.
Got you.
So,
someone in the comments said, your resume long like a CVS receipt.
Oh, man.
And that's just half of it. I got a lot more accomplishments on that.
Oh, well, then you got to buy more time for that, buddy. So what are your long-term, and this is the headlines now, what are your long-term solutions for GERS?
So, like I said, where the government have said we're fixing it, and they're putting money in it, but one of the biggest solutions is we got to get more people into the workforce to continue paying into the system. We're paying out a lot, but we don't have the manpower, the staff to continue paying in. So with fixing the getting young people into the workforce, which we're going to talk about later, is getting them in from high school is going to fix it, because that's them paying in from a younger age. And then those felons that we're arresting, that we're trying to put into the workforce, they're going to continue
that's where
to
the
pay
taxing came in.
Correct.
Got it.
So all that money goes back into the system. So we have a solvent system at that point. We have a constant flow of money coming in to continue paying out.
And I would imagine if, by your plan, this would reduce some of the contract work that we got out there that we're spending on.
Correct. We got to bring somebody to paint the schools, and we got a bunch of young people in there. We have 150 prisoners in St. Thomas right now. Could be already working. Right. So there's room for it. There's a lot of room for improvement. But you just need new, fresh, innovative ideas. And once it's not violating anybody's constitutional right, because we're paying them, then we're gonna be just fine.
Okay. What are your plans for education?
So education, and that's a big topic everyone talks about. And my thing is, I was never a fan of the current curriculum and this in school, sitting behind a desk, do the same thing every day. I've never been a fan of it. At 8th grade, I realized it was just it was not working for me. So I stopped that at that point. I said, you know what? I can't come to school every day, do the same thing, read off the textbooks. And to this day, I have children going to school. I have two children in elementary, and they're doing the same thing I did when I was in elementary. We're still reading out the books. In this modern century, we have laptop, we have computer, we have technology. So across from updating the way of schooling, which is if you're going to keep us in classrooms, we should be doing it online. We should be doing reading online. Everybody reads online at home. Then you want them to come to school and read out of a book. The adults are now reading books off of Kindles, Kindle Fires. Nobody use books anymore, but we're forcing the children to continue to do that. So that's one thing that needs to change when it comes to the technology. We have to upgrade and get them into the technological world.
Right. As opposed to buying a bunch of books, you just need one Kindle per student.
But there's a laptop per student right now. All students in public school have
computers.
There you go. Every one of them, but they don't use them because we don't have the outlets for them to be plugged in at the same time.
Stop it, no man. That can't be the reason.
I kid you not.
Well, lies.
Go ask education. They'll tell you. But that's one. So then we have a lot of things that they're teaching in school are taken out. Like they took agriculture out of school. And then outside people are trying to get it back in. We're taking out things that are important to the territory and important to the students to know, to put in other things, But my thing is fine. We got to revamp and work on the board of education itself. But in the meantime, a quick solution is we're going to support non-profit organizations that are doing things for the youth, extracurricular activities outside of school and after schools and on the weekends to get those children the education that they need in the other aspects. So when it comes to financial management, we could teach that outside of school. So we're going to have the children sign up for these programs. The parents sign them up for these programs after school and on the weekends. They learn the things that they should be learning in school after school. Because we can't force education to teach them everything in a short period of time that they have to go to school. So putting that burden on non-profits and funding them. We want to make sure they're funded. So youth development, my goal is to actually fund the non-profit organizations that are working for the youth.
Right. So not create another entity, but just use the ones that exist.
Correct.
Okay.
And properly fund them so they could get staff. Because no one wants to volunteer anymore. Everybody wants to get paid. So provide them with the funding to get paid and provide them with the money to get the equipment they need to teach the students. Because these youths are the future. If we don't focus on them now, then in the next 10, 20 years, we're going to lose the entire Virgin because they're not going to know anything. The information that's not being passed on from the elders, we're not going to know it.
All right.
We're going to just go what we learn on YouTube and Facebook, and it's not going to work to save the island.
That's one of the things that Apostle was talking about. He was talking about we learn history, but we don't necessarily have a futures class, which is a whole nother discussion, but it's relevant. You know what I mean? What would you propose as a solution to our challenges with the Water and Power Authority?
So I've been doing some research, and
I'm sure you have.
I live in Fortuna.
Okay.
And the power is off a lot. It keep making me wonder if I pay the bill or not. But the power goes off. Sometimes I'm like, I pay the bill today, especially if it's a Wednesday. I'm like, did I pay the bill this morning? So
thank you. I didn't know what day they cut. So it's a Wednesday. So every time it goes off on a Wednesday, I should be concerned. Okay, thank you. All right.
So, but the problem is, this been going on since before I was born. I'm 31 years old.
Oh, you are a young
31.
dude. Okay.
And since I've known myself, Unit 23 has always been going down at power plant. This has been for years, and we haven't fixed this problem yet.
Yeah.
So going solar is key. However, we all can't afford solar in the economy that we're in now. So one of my solutions was, especially if you're a government worker or you own your own property, the government will purchase the system for you, give you the system, and you pay us back. Monthly, you'll pay instead of paying WAPA, you pay the government for the system that we got, and when you own it, it's yours. So that'll help in the short term and long term. Your power will constantly be on once the sun is out, and then eventually you'll own it within 10, 15 years.
And I'm sure there's an energy grant for that.
Correct. So, and I read it already that it's something they're actually looking into, which is getting you the kits. It might not be the biggest kit or the kit for you, but they're giving you a certain amount to get the kit, but you have to pay back, which is fine because, again, the power is going to be on, so you don't take a loss. When power goes out, especially for these long hours, 12 and 16 hours, it's a big loss. If your equipment get damaged, your TV get damaged.
Tell me about it.
Your fridge get damaged. If you start to cook, you can't cook no more. The food gets spoiled. You got to throw it out. There's a lot of loss behind of it, and I know the leaders see it, but they don't feel it like we feel it because they probably got generators. Everybody can't afford a $15,000 generator. Right. So that loss goes to the homeowners and the families. You're inside with your children, trying to feed them. Power goes out. We shouldn't be saying, well, we're reverting back to hurricane days where we gotta go and cook and light a fire or use a grill. It shouldn't be like that, but that's what it is. The only good thing about it is we learn to survive. So when we go to the U.S., anybody from the Virgin that leaves here and go to the U.S., they are bigger than they think. We're a big deal in the U.S. because we learn to survive through any and everything. Correct.
Yep.
So
what solutions you have for the mental health in the Virgin Islands?
The mental health.
Because I'm sure as a police you run into this all the time.
So I was one of those officers that I made arrest of a lot of those mentally ill people, and caused the judge to put out these ads in the Daily News talking about there's no facility and we can't use prison to house them. And
right.
He's absolutely correct, but we can't leave them on the street either.
Right.
So there's a mental health division here in the Virgin Islands, in St. Thomas. One of the problems that I've seen is they say it's staff problem, but they don't go out and meet the people that needs them. So some of these guys just need the medicine, and they're not going to make their way to the hospital or to the clinic for the medicine. And you can't keep forcing them to say, hey, jump in my car, let me drop you up there. But they do go. So it can't be that hard to find 5 staff, hire 5 staff members that are trained to give the medicine, and go out, create a unit to go out, give them some vehicles. And
I like that idea.
And give them these medicine. Give them the medicine so they don't have to come into the station. They don't have to get locked up. Can we lock them up?
Kind of like the Uber Eats of mental drugs, mental health.
We go out, we know where they are. It's not like they're hiding. There's 3 locations that they are all the time. You could find them every morning and every night. Go out in the morning, give them the medicine, and they'll be fine.
That's a great idea.
But you bring these solutions up and well, where are we gonna get the staff and where are we gonna get the money from? We have the money. There's a lot of money for mental health. The staff is the problem. The only thing that we have here right now, the biggest issue I can see is manpower in all of the government. Is manpower, and that's because of lack of training, a lack of the pay. The pay is too low for a lot of these departments, and nobody wants to work for the government because it's the younger people that has to work, and nobody's explaining us the benefits of working for the government. So yes, I get into the government and realize, man, they got good insurance. They got, I get to work 8 to 5. I get a check every 2 weeks. But that's me. If you don't explain to the younger population that 18 to 25, 18 to 30, why they should come work for the government, they're not applying for no government jobs. So it's up to us to educate them to why. So that's what my plan for the youth is, to catch them right out of high school. As you leave high school, you should already have your mind made up. If you're not going to college, we're going into the workforce. Emergency services is lacking. Police, fire, EMS, all short staff. You only have to be 18 and have a high school diploma. We're going to pull you out of high school. We're going to train you in high school, show you what it is to be in that realm. So when you come out, you can decide, you know what, I want to be an EMT. I want to be a firefighter. Right. So you're going straight from high school into the workforce. At $40,000 out of high school, you're going to catch them. That automatically is going to draw their attention, and we're going to have a feel of people to pull from. But for some reason, we're making it like this is the hardest thing to do. So.
Okay. All right. Now, clearly, it's on your platform. So the Virgin Islands youth are important to you. Senator, how do you plan to prove the value of our young people?
So again, it's through those youth programs and through those nonprofits is exposure. So across from funding them and getting them into these programs is to expose the youth, expose the talent. So one of my biggest problems, I've been the commander for the Civil Air Patrol for the last 12 years. And so much talented youth came through this program, right? They accomplished so much that you would never believe it. But no one publicizes it. We send the press release to the media, and it doesn't go out. They don't put it up because it's good news. We don't want good news. Don't sell.
Send it to Vivid Streaming, brother.
But good things came out like after the storm, and I met with you then after the storm. Before Irma Maria hit, we took 6 members from here to Hawaii to train at Schofield Barracks, right? They became the first certified ground team member in the territory. They came back just in time to work that storm. We came back, and a week later the storm hit, and they ended up working the storm. They stayed in Vaitima for a month straight, walking out on the road, clearing debris, handing out, working at those shelters. They did everything through the storm, and after the storm. And it gets recognized nowhere. Vaitima recognizes and give them all certificates, but that was it. These are children 14, 15, 16 years old that are out there dedicating their life to service, over being home playing games or with their families. We don't recognize them. You have the young people that are becoming pilots. You have 16 years old, a 16-year-old boy, just 17-year-old on his license or the pilot license. It's $10,000 to become a pilot. He paid out a pocket. His parents got the money, paid for him to become a pilot, and we don't publicize none of this. But we go and talk and say there's nothing for the youth to do. There's a lot for them to do, but because no one wants to publicize it for free,
right.
And the youth program them don't have the funds to say, hey, we're gonna just keep paying for advertisement. Then it goes unrecognized.
All right. Well, we're here to fix that. You are here to fix some things. Last question for you: where do you stand on arts, entertainment, and athletics?
So I'm for anything that betters all people, right? So I'm all for it. A lot of things that I don't do. I'm not an artist.
Okay.
But
You ain't got no time,
I
bro.
like great art. I like quality art. I go to the galleries. I look at the arts. Entertainment. I go to some of the shows. I don't go to all. I go volleyball, baseball. It's different. I go and watch different things. So I approve everything that the youth do. Everything that people do in general. Once it's positive, I'm for it. I'm all for it. So I'm for whatever they need to get it done. We're gonna get it done. I heard them talk about putting a big sports arena out in the country where it's an indoor gym, you have close to the swimming pool, you have the volleyball area. This is perfect. This is what's needed. But is it going to get done? How quick is it going to get done? The youths need these things. As much as we say they're bad, we go by any basketball court. There's a bunch of children on the court. I was in PMP last night. From small to old, they're all on the basketball court playing ball. This is what they do. But who's out there encouraging them and saying, hey, we could qualify, you could train you so that you could go off, and make it big. They out there, they want to go big. They're watching the stars and saying, I'm gonna be like them. But no one is here saying, hey, come on, I'm gonna train you. We have a program. Come down here and learn. We're gonna continue teaching you. So I'm for it. I was there with Julian Jackson last time, the boxing ring in PMP. I was so impressed to see the young children, young little chubby chill, but they were out there doing their thing. They enjoy it and
chubby for now.
Yeah, but they really enjoy what they're doing, and I really have to tell them, listen, I don't know if you're getting paid or you're doing it for free, right? But we need more people like you that just dedicated to service, just giving back to the community. You have talent and you're giving it back, and that's what we need is more people engaged in saying, I'm gonna give back to these youths, whether it's arts, crafts, entertainment, whatever it is, just give back, so that they could have a future. Because you're gonna leave one day, and somebody has to fill your shoes, and if we don't teach the young ones, then who will?
All right.
So my thing is, if not now, then when? So it's time.
And if not you, who?
Exactly. So this is my so that's why I decided to run. I said this is my time to run. Because if I don't run now, going in under these educated, experienced elders that are in the Senate now, I have to go in now and get their knowledge so that when I could continue passing knowledge on to my peers. But if not now, then when?
All right.
We don't want to lose the Virgin Islands. We don't want to lose this paradise.
That's a fact. And you're 31 years old.
31.
All right. Hey, listen. One thing I could tell about you, I could tell that you got a great work ethic, clearly. But you're also knowledgeable. Creative mind. Excited, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All the best come November 8th.
November 8th.
All right, November 8th. Well, that's it. That was your off the hot seat.
Yep. There's an app for that.
It's called Vivid Streaming, and you can download it in the app and Google Play Store.